welcome to another episode of Inspiring Instinct. I'm local poet and fellow overthinker, E.R. Vogel. And normally what we do here is I break down a piece of, or a different style of how to write or an aspect. But today I'm just going to read from some of my favorite poets. Hopefully you like it. I'm going to break down a little bit why I like each one, what stands out for me, and whether you noticed that already or didn't notice it at all. Get some feedback and let me know if there's something I even missed too. So the first one is going to be from Phil K's Date and Time. Internet Speaks Back to the Author, 2018. Tell me what you want. Every door you enter, I will let you in. My friend Rihanna said that. You want to see her? Here she is. Parts of herself she never meant to show you, but I got them for you. Is that too much? Are you upset with me? Here, a man belly flopping onto a lake, a goat climbing up on people doing yoga, a baby crying hysterically and now laughing, a magician revealing his tricks, a photo of your old best friend who called you 3 days ago. Don't call him now. Let me show you him. You like it better that way. Look how you two dressed up together that Halloween. He doesn't want to do that anymore, except with me. I won't let him change, I promise. Why are you sad? Here, the woman you kissed 2 nights ago. She was recently in Florida. It was colder than she expected. Here, her mother. 2 huskies, little brother's graduation, view from her old apartment, best sushi she's ever had, her bestie's favorite bar, bestie's untouched birthday cake, bestie's new friend, bestie's trip to Chicago, bestie's photo under the bean, bestie's girls' weekend. It's okay. She shared it with me so I could show you. Here, the woman you loved years ago. See? The marigold on the drink she had on her honeymoon. You don't like sweet drinks, right? Don't leave. Let's go to the temple. What an architect you've become. There you are, your face wonderfully frozen, your funny joke, it took you so long, but I'll never tell. You're safe here, with me. Now, Phil K. does a great job of speaking about the individual and looking in on ourselves, and he took an imaginary conversation with the internet to really reveal that. You can look up anybody in the world, like the girl you kissed 2 days ago, or your old best friend, or your ex. You can find anything about them and how dangerous that can be for yourself. And that is why Phil K is one of the best. Next, today, we have Joe Lupin from his book, You Only Love Me When I'm Suffering. Now, this is a very quick one called Birdies. We were never singing the same song. We were never in tune, and you were never in beat. But that didn't matter because we were lovebirds, not songbirds. Now, I just love that because it's sweet, simple, and everyone has a purpose. Not everyone can sing. I can't do math that well, but people who are good at math think my writing's great. Everyone's got their own skills. But lovebirds will only love. Next, we have a very popular poet who I'm very glad started to open up people to the world of poetry, Rupi Kahar, and her book, Milk and Honey. Her illustrations that influence or add to her poems throughout all of her works are really unique and impressive, yet somehow simple and powerful at the same time. And her spoken word is fantastic as well. And this is one of my favorite pieces of hers. We've been arguing more than we ought to. about things neither of us remember or care about, because that's how we avoid the bigger questions. Instead of asking why we don't say I love you to one another as often as we used to. We fight about things like who was supposed to get up and turn the lights off first, or who was supposed to pop the frozen pizza in the oven after work. Taking hits at the most vulnerable parts of one another. We're like fingers on thorns honey. We know exactly where it hurts. And everything is on the table tonight. Like that one time you whispered a name I'm pretty sure wasn't mine in your sleep. Or last week when you said you were working late. So I called work, but they said you'd already left a couple hours ago. Where were you for those couple hours? I know. Your excuses make all the sense in the world, and I get a little carried away for no good reason and eventually begin crying. But what else do you expect, baby? I love you so much. I'm sorry I thought you were lying. That's when you hold your head with your hands in frustration, half begging me to stop, half tired and sick of it. The toxin in our mouths has burnt holes in our cheeks. We look less alive than we used to. Less color in our faces, but don't kid yourself. No matter how bad it gets, we both know you still want to nail me to the ground. Especially when I'm screaming so loud, our fighting wakes the neighbors, and they come running to the door to save us. Baby, don't open it. Instead, lie me down. Lay me open like a map, and with your fingers trace the places you still want to fuck out of me. Kiss me like I am the center point of gravity, and you are falling into me like my soul is the focal point of yours. And when your mouth is kissing not my mouth, but other places, my legs will split apart out of habit, and that's when I pull you in, welcome you home. When the entire street is looking out their windows or wondering what all the commotion is, and the fire trucks come rolling in to save us, but they can't distinguish whether these flames began with our anger or our passion, I will smile. Throw my head back, arch my body like a mountain you want to split in half, baby, lick me. Like your mouth has the gift of reading, and I'm your favorite book. Find your favorite page in the soft spot between my legs and read it carefully, fluently, vividly. Don't you dare leave a single word untouched, and I swear my ending will be so good. The last few words will come, running to your mouth, and when you're done, take a seat, 'cause it's my turn to make music with my knees pressed to the ground. Sweet baby, this is how we pull language out of one another. With the flick of our tongues, this is how we have the conversation. This is how we make up. Now, she can really expel a lot of emotions, but she really chose to make you choose between anger or passion. She even said it herself. And as horny as that is, it is still the veil that sex can bring to an unwanted connection or an unhappy one, and how easy the things that make life terrible can be distracted by something so precious. So just be careful who you do dirty things with. And speaking of dirty things, my next read will be from Olivia Gatwood in her book, New American Best Friend. And she is very much a strong feminist and idealistic person. And her voice is very tough to ignore, especially once you start hearing it. And this is one of her few odes. An ode to the word pussy. I could devote my time to justifying your name by defending the feline. But what about the lioness, I might say, colossal queen of the animal kingdom, or even a house cat, twitching mouse caught in its claws? How could my body not be that? But this debate doesn't interest me, or you, I would imagine. For years, I have been a bystander to your wasteful adaptation, a slingshot against men who can't take a blow to the stomach, and I've left in search of less tiresome way to praise you. An ode to you will be for your sound, your good word, for each small leap across your ripping body. For instance, how clever you are to make the human press their lips together before spilling out your name. To gather the air between the flesh and push it out in a flaccid alto hum. Let it hang there for a moment, like a foreign thread, the audience not sure if it's finish line or spider web. They wonder if it will be pulse or pulverize. They pray for pure, and then the vowel it snatches back, tongue pressed against the arch of the mouth, sibilants suspended in whir, and a fly in a jar. This is the climax everyone has already whined and covered their prudish ears. So the muscle falls like a whale slapping the ocean. When it's back, the lips open to a smile, and out comes a happy soprano of an elongated E. And what better place to end than here? To conclude this forbidden moniker that with the pitch of joy. Speaking of joy, let's indulge in your sermon for a moment. Webster's define you as as inflated and swelled, which is to say you should always just be that. Fat with blood and want even in the quiet of the workday. In transit or under the dinner table, I will always imagine that this is your synonym. Not coward in the dugout, nor frail or timid, not the name of the sign stuck to a small boy's back. And yes, many will call you profanity, diminish you to a whisper, but this is an ode to your double S, the numerical hiss, and the way it screams in quiet gossip like a dog's whisper punching through the veil of night. That's just such a good breakdown of not just the definition, but the literal sound of pussy and all the different meanings that are attached to it. And also that it gave it so much strength. It tried to strip away any of the profanity and made fun of anyone for being disgusted by the word itself. It's a powerful thing. And last, we do have another button poetry. Has been most of these publishers. And Neil Hilborn, Our Numbered Days. This talks about his friend, Joey. Joey has always told me, laughing as though it were actually a joke, that he wanted to kill himself, but it was never the right time. There were always groceries to be bought and little brothers to be tucked in at night. Don't worry. Joey isn't going to kill himself 20 more lines into this poem. That's not the kind of story I'm telling here. Joey got a promotion, and now he can afford Prozac. Joey is Joe now. Joe is a cold engine in which none of the parts complain. Joe is a brick someone made out of fossils. If you removed money from the equation, Joey would have been painting elk on the cave walls. People would have fed him and kept him away from high places. But because goddamn, look at those elk. I think that the genes for being an artist and mentally ill aren't just related, they are the same gene, but telling that to a bill collector. We were 17 and I drove us to a punk show in station wagon, older than any of us. We were 17 and I bought lunch for Joey more often than I didn't. We were 17, and the one time Joey tried to talk to me about being depressed when someone else was around, I told him to shut the hell up and ask if he needed to change his tampon. You know that moment when the cartoon realizes he's taken 3 steps off the cliff? And he takes a long look at the audience, like we were carrying the last moving box out of the half-empty house. Joey looked like that, without the puff of smoke. He just played video games for half an hour and then went home. Once I found Joey in my dad's office, staring at the safe where he knew we kept the guns. Once Joey molded his car into the shape of a tree trunk and refused to give a reason why. I once caught Joey in biology class staring at his scalpel like he wanted to be the frog, splayed out, wide open, so honest. There's one difference between me and Joey. When we got arrested, bail money was waiting for me at the station. When I was hungry, I ate. When I wanted to open myself up and see if there really were bees rattling around in there, my parents got me a therapist. I can pinpoint the session that brought me back to the world. That session cost $75. $75 and 2 weeks of groceries. It's a month of bus fare. It's not even a school year's worth of new shoes. It took weeks of $72 to get to one that saved my life. We both had parents that believed us when we said we weren't okay, but mine could afford to do something about it. I wonder how many kids like Joey wanted to die and were unlucky enough to actually pull it off. How many of those kids had something who cared about them but also had to pay rent? I'm so lucky that right now I'm not describing Joey's funeral. I'm so lucky we all lived through who we were to become who we are. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. Now, Neil Hilborn talks a lot about mental illness and suicidal depression being on that list, certainly. But not a lot of people really seem to take the weight of the difference between who can get help and who can't. And that, I think, really sheds such a simple light on such a large issue. Well, that's all I have for readings today. But if you liked any of these, or if you want to suggest any other poems or maybe some other stories or something to be read on here, or explain something that you like yourself, give us an email and we'll do something with it. Thank you. See you next time.